Hi, good morning, guys. My name is Travis Harmon-Smith. I'm a graduate student in Troy University's Master of Social Science program. And today, I'm just going to give you guys a quick presentation video providing you guys with 8 different types of social theories and how those social theories compare with the 4 theoretical frameworks that we use in the field of sociology. So, guys, just moving on to the first slide, which is the introduction slide. Just to kind of like introduce you guys to just the idea of what social theory is. Social theory is a systematic and scientific approach to understanding human, global, and social phenomena within the realm of relationships, institutions, customs, values, excuse me, and the core issues that make up human society. This presentation video will give the viewer a comprehensive understanding of the various theories learned in the 9-week course while drawing comparisons with 4 main theoretical categories in sociology. So, let you guys see my animations so you guys can check that out. All right, guys, moving forward, as you guys can see, here are the four, theoretical categories in sociology. We have structural functionalism, conflict theory, symbolic interactionist theory, and feminist theory. Now, to start off my presentation, I would like to start off with structural functionalism, which is also known as functionalist theory. And this theory views human society as a system of interconnected parts. Essentially, everything that makes up a society is essentially interwoven. It's not disconnected. So everything that makes up human society has no disconnection. The first theorist that talked about functionality, whom we went over in the social theory course this term, was Emil Durkheim. Durkheim, in his theory, mechanical and organic solidarity, expressed the fact that interconnectivity, or whatever we want to classify this as within the field of sociological research, Durkheim says that interconnectedness deals with all the members of society's body, which includes all of the institutions, the norms, the beliefs, the values that keep a society functional and stable. Aside from Durkheim, who who had functional views, Talcott Parsons is another notable functionalist and social theorist who also agreed with Durkheim's research, and his views on functionality are analogous to what Durkheim said. And Parsons essentially said the same thing, that that a society is essentially a system of interconnectedness, and that a system or a social system, it consists of attainment, achievement, purpose, and goals, which are all functional, in which every human being within a society shares those same types of attributes. So Parsons and Durkheim both had the theory that society is interconnected, and that there is no disconnectivity within anything that makes up a social structure. Moving forward, Robert Merton was also the last and final theorist that I had when we speak in terms of structural functionalism. There's this picture. I don't know if you guys can see the picture. So yeah, Robert Merton said the same exact things that Durkheim and Parsons said. Basically, everything that happens within the social conditions of humanity basically are all functional and are all interwoven into one entity. All right, moving forward. Next, we're going to talk about conflict theory. Conflict theory is basically social inequalities and group inequalities that exist within a society. Um, One of the first conflict theorists that I was able to identify in my presentation, as you guys can see with the background, is the man and who they deem as the leader of conflict theory is Karl Marx. Now, Karl Marx, along with Frederick Engels, they argued in a theory that we learned in social theory this term called the Manifesto of Class Struggle. They argued that there is a strong distinction between the bourgeoisie and the proletarians when we speak in terms of mass producing and economic structure. Marx basically argued that the bourgeoisie, they control the mass means of production, while the proletarians, who are also deemed as the laborers to the bourgeoisie, they deem them as basically the people who they need to perform this work within the realm of within the realm of whatever is being mass produced. So Marx had the theory that society has conflict when we speak in terms of economics, and I think that that's something that we've heard amongst the media and various other entities throughout the country. Moving forward, W.E.B. Du Bois is my next theorist who I have under conflict theory, and W.E.B. Du Bois had the conflict theory of socioeconomic and structural tension between blacks and white workers. Um, Now, Du Bois also said in one of his theories called Reconstruction and Racial Wage, he basically said that there was a racial wage or a constructive process that was going on to create a new economy after slavery. Now, what they did was they were trying to get low class or impoverished white workers to basically side with the rich white planters of these lands to basically continue the segregative practices during that time. So um, W.E.B. Du Bois wasn't really implying that segregation was really just the only problem. The main problem was that they were trying to separate blacks from the low class whites in order to make more money and to try to get the low class whites to side with the high class white landowners in order to make a more stable economy after slavery ended. So that was one of the other conflicts that we saw, that we learned in social theory when we speak in terms of conflict theory. Moving on, we have symbolic interactionist theory. Symbolic interactionist theory basically expounds on how individuals give meanings and belief to the same things symbolically. So the first theorist that I had in the symbolic interactionist realm is George Meade. Now, George Meade developed a theory in which he called the self, the I, and the me, and he says that an individual experiences himself uh, not really directly but indirectly from other members within that same social reference or group. So what me was basically saying is that if I give meaning to the tree, you may have a meaning for the same type of tree, and then thus we have two distinctive meanings that are symbolic to the same thing that we're trying to give meaning to. So moving forward, outside of Mead, we have Charles Cooley. Now, Charles Cooley, excuse me, is also another social theorist that talked about symbolic interactionism, and he says that again, the person's self or the I grows from other people's perceptions of things. So, any ideas that you may gain from another individual within the same social reference might play a part in how you perceive the symbol in which you're giving meaning to, in which you are interacting about. So moving forward to the last part, which is feminist theory. Feminist theory, guys, deals with gender inequality and conflict. So you would almost have to put feminist theory underneath the same guidelines as conflict theory, because women have experienced major conflicts in their search for power. Which brings me to my first theory in the feminist theorist section. We have Charlotte Gilman. Now, Charlotte Gilman was another feminist from the early 1800s, and she believed that in her research titled "Women in Economics," Charlotte Gilman basically said that women were viewed as a source of labor to their husbands, and really not in the sense of being a mother, wife, or the normalized labels that women should have when they get involved in a partnership with a man or within a marriage. Um, she basically says that wives of husbands during that time were essentially labor sources, and that they were relegated almost to the level of not being worth anything. And she also stated that the condition of motherhood and marriage was also a form of labor to the husband during that time. Subsequent to Charlotte Gilman, we have Dorothy Smith. Dorothy Smith is another notable feminist that we talked about this term in social theory. Smith, she wrote in her works, knowing a society from within a woman's standpoint. Excuse me. She wrote in that research that she did not agree with the current sociological constructs that were being imposed by the male theory. So she wanted to provide more of a feminist point of view, which became known as the feminist standpoint theory. Um, Now, Smith found that the only way of knowing a socially constructed world is basically knowing it from within. So, if you know what your particular world is within, and if you see your world external, and if you see what's going on external from you, whatever's happening that is not a part of you, you are constructing your world inside of how you view the world external to you. So essentially, she says that we are we are essentially independent from what we are observing. And I think that that shined a greater light on a lot of the other theories within the field of social sciences, that the the person who is observing the object or the phenomena have to construct their own world of what they're viewing. So we all have our own various worlds or um, interpretations of how we view what is external to us, which makes us the observer of what we are looking at. So I thought that was a very good perspective in terms of feminist theory. Now, guys, to conclude my presentation, after reviewing and presenting 8 notable theories learned in the course, I would probably have to say Durkheim's theory regarding mechanical solidarity and organic solidarity was the best description in terms of functionality within a social structure. And then moving forward, lastly, I would probably have to say, in regards to conflict theory, that Karl Marx's theory was probably deemed as the best in terms of describing, conflicts that make up a social structure, whether it's conflicts in economics, law, politics, whatever. Marx showed us how society is controlled through these elite forces, such as the bourgeoisie, and how the bourgeoisie, they essentially control the mass means of all production, and basically saying that the proletarians, who are the laborers, they have to be controlled by these top tier bourgeoisie people. So I think just knowing and just learning the dichotomy between the bourgeoisie and the proletarians within human society gave me a much more fluid understanding as to how these theories compare to current issues that we see right now. So, guys, I just want to say thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to give you guys this presentation video, and I hope you guys learn a significant amount of information regarding social theory and the field of sociology, and how these theories and these various perspectives can change a lot of the problems that we're seeing right now within the current social structure. Thank you guys very much.